Hey, all you Golemancers and Terracore explorers. I think I like that term. It might not be official, but I like it. Anyway, I'm back for part B of this video. Part A, yesterday, I was doing a comparison between Terracore and Golem Overlord, and it kind of got cut in half because Golem Overlord went down. And it was down for quite a while. Turns out that it was not necessarily an issue with the game, but it was an issue with the back-end database. So it came up, it was like 2 a.m. here, so it was down for several hours. But with that said, the main developer, and there's only one guy, I guess, so he was at a wedding, so so he got called, and he got it figured out. Anyway, it came back up. I believe when we left off, we were talking about attacking, because this is one of the main differences that I see in the two games. So we're going to jump back in. If you did not watch the first video in this series, it's only going to be 2 videos, but if you didn't watch the first video, go ahead and I will leave the link in the show notes. Watch that one first and then come back and watch this one. Appreciate it. With that said, this is Bronze Dragon bringing you some Terracore and Golem Overlord. I don't want to say news, but it's more of a comparison, how I feel about the games. I've been playing Golem Overlord since it started, and since it went live, right before it went live. And I've been playing Terracore for 2 weeks. I was invited to come play the game. And so I'm giving my kind of comparison after 2 weeks playing Terracore, because there are a lot of similarities. Like I said, go back and watch the other video first if you haven't watched it. Otherwise, let's go ahead and jump back in. So where we left off was we were talking about attacking, because I can see that is one of the major differences between the two games. Now, in Golem Overlord, how you sort and how you find your people you're going to attack is very similar. It's a little bit more customizable from what I've seen in Golem Overlord, in the fact that, and I've got a split screen going on here. Let me see. I'm changing my face location around. Yesterday I had Golem Overlord on the left. Anyway, so when you go in to do a battle in Golem Overlord, you can come in here and you can sort by offense, and you can sort by a bunch of different parameters here. Find out who you're going to fight and then attack them, okay? And this is kind of a manual thing. And then once you attack, you have a percentage. It's a different type of calculation that happens from what I've seen than Terracore, because in the end result, you can actually lose a match, lose a fight, and you actually lose some part, right? So it's costly to attack in a lot of situations, and therefore, I can't speak for anybody else, but I've stopped attacking in Golem Overlord. I primarily run a defensive build, but with that said, every time I try to attack, even if I attack people sufficiently below me, I end up a lot of times losing. Even if you get to the point where you're when you go into attack and you compare your percentages and everything, it'll give you a percentage chance of you're going to win. And what I've found is you definitely want to attack above 85%. But I've found that even if I attack above 92%, I have a fair amount of chance of losing money because I lost. I don't know what's going on with the back end, how those rolls are doing, but I stopped attacking. So with that said, I still enjoy the game. I'm just playing a defensive build, and that's kind of the reason why. Now, comparison. In Terracore, I have not lost yet. Okay. In the attacking, you can see the page here. Down at the bottom, it kind of auto sorts, and it takes into account what your damage is, or your offense, and it pre-sorts by people with lower defense. So obviously I've been attacking people with a slightly lower defense than what I am. So my damage is 50, their defense is 40. This auto sorts by who has defense 40 or who is a little bit lower than you and also has the highest stash at that point. I like the auto sort. Okay. The other thing I like is the fact that you can click on one and say, for instance, you're ready for a claim. I'm not ready. I've got a little bit longer to go before I want to claim. But I can click on 1, 2, 3, 4, how many ever attacks you have here, and then go ahead and press attack, selected, and claimed, and it will do those battles, and then it'll go ahead and claim. Okay, I like that. It's a little bit of a user-friendly type thing, right? Makes it a little bit easier. And they give you your stats right up here. So, in other words, you're going to take into effect their dodge chance. So, in other words, say for instance, this person was the top, okay, at 0.25% dodge. Maybe I might want to sacrifice just a little bit and attack the person below that has much lower dodge chance. Even though it's just slightly less, I'm more than likely going to get more out of that person than I am going to get out of that person. In other words, it's a little bit easier, to go ahead and do your attack. And from what I've seen, I may be wrong. Correct me in the comments if I am, but I haven't lost any, and I haven't done an attack where I've hit a person, I've lost, and then it's charged me a certain amount of the coin, right? Or scrap in this case. Okay, so, but it's very common in Golem Overlord for me to do an attack when I was attacking and get charged part. Okay, so that's one of the biggest differences I see. Okay, is the attacking. So with that said, in Terracore, what I've been doing is I've been doing a mixed build, I guess you would say. You can see where I stand now. Okay, over the last 24 hours, I've actually increased my stash size in my favor. And one item on that, when you click in, you can see the ranks, right? Now you can add gradually, but your percentage is only going to go up when you hit that specific rank. So I'm at 10 now. I have 0.25%. 0.25%. The next rank, I'm going to need 25. So I need to be able to lay another 15 in here and another 15 in here. If I increase my stash size to 25, it will go up from 0.25 to 0.262, which is more than double significantly. So, but that's incrementally because it's more than double what I have in the stash size right there as well. Now, while we're talking about that, I will mention that there's another variable here in the fact that there's another variable in Terracore. You have different planets, and I haven't, got this far into the game yet. But one of the items to travel to a different planet and do whatever you're going to do on a different planet is that you have to have a certain amount of scrap that is burnt. Okay, so you can see I have 10 towards the 1,000. Obviously, once you get to 10, the 1,000, then I can start playing on Oceania. Okay, I'm not going to go into that because I don't have experience with that right now. Okay, speak on that in the future if I get that point. Okay, but I did want to mention it. Other than increasing your stash size, increasing your dodge, luck, it also goes towards getting to different planets for other parts of the game. Just wanted to mention that while we were talking about it. Okay, so one of the other biggest differences I can see is the fact that Terracore has NFTs. Now, Yixon has said that is in the future in Golem Overlord, and it will be worked on as far as having NFTs and a market to buy. If you have NFTs, you got to have a market to buy and sell and trade them, whatever. So one thing I like is that, and I've when I first jumped into the game, I started talking to people on the chat channel in Discord. Which, side item here, if you are playing Terracore, chat and be active in the Discord channel. Because if you do, you earn scrap. Okay? It's small increments, but you can get into a large discussion on the board and suddenly you've got a few scrap, you know? So that's the only game I've seen that encourages communication on the Discord channel. Okay? So I just wanted to stop there and say that. So let's go back to the NFT market. And you can see here that the NFTs basically, and like I said, I have not gotten heavy into this because when I started talking to people, they said NFTs really, the value of them come into play later in the game. Okay. But me being me, I had to jump in and get one. So let's go to the market. And you can see that they have different items available: ships, weapons, armors, avatars, and a special category. Now, they all serve at this point to boost different attributes. For instance, this quick draw, it's a weapon, and it boosts your damage 2.25. Okay. And it also gives you 1.1 flux. Okay, I haven't even got into the flux yet. Okay, that's the secondary token within this game, and I frankly don't know what it's used for yet. But we'll get into that in the future whenever I do. But my main point here is you can buy various pieces of equipment and equip them, and they give you bonus to your stats. Now, in my case, let's just go to my items. Let's go back to the board. So I bought a ship, and it gives me 9.9%, 9.9 not percent defense. Okay, so you can see that this is kind of a weird number. Everything else is rounded off numbers. The defense is 79. Well, my defense without that ship would actually just be 70. Okay, because I've got the ship, 79. Now, one note I will make here is that if you go in and you want to buy something on the market, you would need to have Hive. Let's open this up a little. Let's make this a little, well, I just want to open this up a little bit more. And this is shifting over into the mobile view. Interesting. So you would need to have Hive in your Hive Engine wallet. Okay. No. Let me get that straight. You would need to have Hive in your Peak D wallet, your main Hive wallet. Okay. Now, I haven't been playing long enough to go ahead and understand the differences between how it interacts between Hive Engine, your main Hive wallet. I did say at the very beginning that when you start the game, you have to have your Hive in your main Hive wallet to pay for the subscription, or I forget what he calls it. But basically, there's a first initial fee that you pay to start playing the game, which is $10, $12, something like that. And by the way, use the link in my show notes if you want to play either game. I'm still playing both of them very actively. Okay, so with that said, you can buy with Hive or you can buy with scrap. Okay, and I'm guessing that the scrap would be within Hive Engine. Okay. Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong in the show notes and you know it, please make a statement. Appreciate it. Because I have only bought once, like that one ship I bought, and I believe that I bought it from my main Hive wallet. Okay. So as we go forward, I'll make a note whenever I do any other transactions. But like I said, several of the people told me just go ahead and at the beginning of the game, after when you're getting into it, go ahead and concentrate on upping your stats. In other words, instead of concentrating on NFTs. Okay. But I do like the fact that they have a nice selection of them. The artwork seems very AI created, which I guess saves you from having to pay an artist. But it works because this is a very space theme, think Eve kind of thing, Eve Online kind of thing. The artwork really works. And, people buy, sell ships, weapons, armor, avatars, as well as special things like stim kits, electronic kits, shields, things of that nature. And they all have different, see, you can boost your luck, crit, dodge, and like I said, with the ship, you can get defense, luck, crit, and it goes forward. Damage, your weapons are mostly damage there as far as I can see. And your armor, defense, logical. So you buy them, you equip them, and they give you whatever it states, right? So with that said, you get them from crates. You can also buy crates and open, just like most other. Once again, that's something that's on the roadmap for Golem Overlord, right? And Yixon has talked about it. So I don't want this to appear like I'm beating up on Yixon. I love the game. I love the fact that it's open source, and we have two guys or two people that made games, and they're based on the same open source code, but there's a good deal of difference between both of them, so much so that I think you could play both of them and have a healthy attitude towards both of them, and play them differently too. So like you can see, I'm playing very defensive in Golem Overlord because of some of the rule differences, and I'm playing slightly, or just a balanced in Terracore, because I will go in and I mostly mine, but before I go ahead and claim, I will attack 1, 2, 3 people, however many I've got available. So I don't burn through everything at the one time. So there are other features to Terracore that I haven't even covered, because I frankly like the planets, exploring, fighting boss mobs. There's a few other things I know I'm missing. So if you play Terracore, reply in the comments. We'll just kind of wrap it up there, because I think that's a good, between the two videos, it's a real kind of overlook between the two. I think that obviously Terracore was put out before Golem Overlord, so it's ahead as far as features. I'm very much looking forward towards the new features in Golem Overlord whenever Yixon can get them made and into the game. I'm going to continue playing both. I think that you could go into both games and play them differently. I'm just trying to think of how to wrap this up. So I don't think there's anything inherently wrong in either game. I think that, to me, I'm having slightly more fun in Terracore. But that remains to be seen as far as the outlook on both games. I wouldn't necessarily go into these games thinking you're going to make a bunch of money. In fact, they usually cost a little bit more than what you make. I have seen, especially in Terracore, that there are some people that have multiple accounts. In fact, there's one guy that has hundreds of accounts that are farming. So that's one thing to think about. I don't necessarily have an opinion on that one way or another. That's up to the developer to decide, what they want in their game. So obviously, people who farm with large amounts of accounts paid for each account, so why not? So I'm just trying to leave that out. I just figured I'd mention that because I saw that today. We'll leave it there. I'll pick this back up whenever I have more to say. Once I get further into Terracore and once Yixon puts more into Golem Overlord. I like them both. I don't have anything bad to say about them. I think they're a fun little diversion. The one bad thing I can say, I do have one bad thing. I'm tired of waking up in the middle of the night to do claims. Now I'm waking up twice in the middle of the night to do claims. But with that said, this has been Bronze Dragon. Friday night, a Mardi Gras Bach from Abita Brewery. Here's to you. I hope everyone on your end is healthy and safe. I'm glad the smoke is gone. We had the last couple days in my area, we had massive amounts of smoke from Canadian wildfires travel down through here. I'm glad the skies cleared up today. So I hope everyone is happy and healthy on your side. And this has been Bronze Dragon, bringing you a little comparison between Terracore and Golem Overlord. Give me your thoughts in the comments, and please give me a like and subscribe. As always, I'll see you on the flip side.